Alright everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil, and I want to make sure you all don't panic about Galactic Legend Hondo. And I want to approach this from two perspectives. If you are someone who has Hondo, and you think he's lackluster right now, hold. Just hold. Number one, we don't have the perfect Datacron for him yet. Most of you do not have that perfect Datacron for him yet. This next set that we're getting, which I will be going over with Old Man Logan, but the next set has some things in here that are going to be very beneficial to that Galactic Legend Hondo team. So, hey, pause there. But the other group of players that need to pause are the people who have yet to, unlock Hondo. Some of them are probably looking at this saying, oh, Hondo's trash, I'm not farming Hondo. And some of you are like, I need to get Hondo today. Let's all just pump the brakes a bit. Let's take a step back. Let's think clearly. Let's talk about why Hondo's going to be far better than I think many people are giving him credit for, what I think his purpose will be, and then also for the players who are looking to get Hondo or maybe not looking to, why that will be important and the smart way to go about farming this character. So, with that said, like, subscribe, comment down below. Let's give a shout out to our channel members, as always, for their continued support. If you're ever interested, link below, along with link to Discord. Really appreciate you guys just keeping the faith, believing in me through good, bad, thick, thin, right, wrong, good takes, bad takes, hot takes, everything in between. Y'all are the best. Can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Let's get in here. Let's make sure we don't panic about Galactic Legend Hondo. Alright, so as of now, the early reports on this character are that he is kind of lackluster, that he's not that good. As you guys can see, I've done my battles for today. I kind of was doing a lot of testing just to see what works and what doesn't work. And what I've kind of found is that obviously Supreme Leader Kylo Ren with the ridiculous Darkseid Ray Datacron still works against Hondo. Leia Organa does seem to be a pretty strong contender, and with Leia, I will say I did use a 25% turn meter cron, so I did use a Datacron from the new set. One thing I do want to encourage you guys, do not be doing Hondo testing with these things here, because these Datacrons are going away. We want to be testing with the Datacrons here, and then of course if you have any of the new set somehow because you're a whale or whatever, you can be testing with this set, but I would not try to be testing with the, again, doing a lot of stuff with this set since it's disappearing in, 2 weeks. So, that's one, a lot of people saying, oh, he's lackluster. Let's wait. Because number one, again, there's still this Datacron which is going away, but also, Hondo doesn't have his best Datacron. The best Datacron for Hondo, for those of you wondering, and I'm going to go, of course, we have to go into Grand Arena and kind of go to the, top accounts here. So this one right here. Hondo's going to get 15% max health and protection for the dark side allies, the wordy level 6, and then of course the Captain Silvo area. This is ridiculous, right? This is such a good Datacron. This is going to make that Hondo team a hell of a lot better. So I say all this as a pump the brakes a bit. If you think he's trash, just wait until this Datacron is there. Again, got to think about the Omicrons that are going to be at play in varying game modes. It will definitely change kind of how we need to go about him. So I don't want to jump on this, oh, he's trash, because one, it's still so early. There's still a lot of things. And I don't want to get too much into this because we're going to be getting together some other content creators today to kind of talk about what I think Hondo's going to look like. And I have a few ideas of what that will be, but just kind of put into the back of your head that not all Galactic Legends are meant to stop everything, and that's probably a good thing. I'll talk about that more again. I want to make sure you guys go watch the, collab with a couple other creators that we're going to do because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you have Hondo now, don't panic. Don't have buyer's remorse yet. Just kind of bide your time. Wait to see how things change, and I think you will be pleasantly surprised by that character. But for the players like myself who don't yet have Hondo, hey, we need to get Hondo. We've got to be able to, unlock this guy. What are we going to do? One of the things that you need to avoid right now is this urge to finish Captain Atano, to rush him, to rush getting Quiggled or even kicks. Pump the brakes. One, these are the fastest you'll be able to get Galactic Legend Hondo. Is, again, going to be reliant on how quickly you can then get Captain Silvo. And then it's going to be how quickly you can get Vayne. And then Brutus. And then Kix. Then Quiggled. And then Etano. Because of the release order. That you're going to have significantly more time to unlock Etano than you will Captain Silvo. Think, Kix is still yet not on a node. He still is not even on a node yet. So we're not even halfway through the farmable characters for Hondo. So it's a long, there's a long road ahead of you're not going to need to be rushing Etano because you can't even get Silvo yet. So I say this as don't start panicking yet. Especially for those of you where crystals are kind of tight. I don't want you guys spending your bonus crystals on something that is offering zero benefit to your account. It's not worth it in my opinion. I don't think the panic right now is to panic farm Hondo. I don't think that's a smart decision because it's 6 more key units. It's a lot of resources. And for a player like myself, even if I bought all of these characters to, 7-star, I still would not have the required signal data in order to unlock Hondo as it is. So, with that in mind, I'm not I'm not in a rush. Most of you probably don't need to be either. Also, do you have the Zetas? Do you have do you have everything else you need to unlock the character? So, again, I think this was a question somebody was like, oh, do I start rushing Etano? And it's like, no. The fastest you'll be able to get Hondo is reliant on the character that it's going to take you the longest to farm. And right now, that looks to be Captain Silvo based on release date. Now, maybe Captain Silvo goes to Cantina, so then it turns into Vayne. But then, you would have been buying shards for Silvo that you wouldn't have needed, if that makes sense. So, if you're thinking, hey, I'm going to spend shards, but only after everybody's farmable or whatever, just bide your time, wait around. And then you can kind of figure out from there how you want to proceed, right? Just, again, one man's very humble and honest opinion to you. I'd kind of bide your time, wait and see how everything goes farmable and how quickly you could potentially unlock that character. Now, for those of you who are thinking, I don't need to farm this guy, he's trash, he's not good. Remember, I kind of said the opposite, where I'm like, hey, the best of him is yet to come. We still don't know Smuggler's Run 3, which I talked about. But I think the bigger thing here that you need to consider is what happens if Hondo's required for something else. Not just Smuggler's Run 3, but what if there's something else we need this guy for? A lot of people will say, that's nonsense. That's ridiculous, Phil. They didn't do anything for Ahsoka. Like, why would they do anything for Hondo? Like, he's in the raid, all that stuff, right? Like, but one of the common themes that is kind of cropped up every now and then is a character like Hondo. At first, you're like, is this team really good? And then all of a sudden, they're extremely important for something that other teams weren't good at, right? It's happened time and time again. Inquisitors, they get Reva, or Leia is the best counter for Ahsoka, or like Jabba is the best. All these characters, there's something they do really well that maybe down the road becomes extremely important. And maybe Hondo eventually becomes that way. And you don't want to get caught in a situation where you didn't farm the character based on some initial testing that was based off of, datacrons that were expiring without Hondo's best datacron. And I know what people are going to say is, well, why would I, his performance without datacrons is all that matters. Unless you're only ever playing without datacrons, which then hats off to you, well done. The reality is datacrons are going to be active. So it's one of these areas where I think it's almost disingenuous at times to try to test anything without datacrons. Because the reality of the game is there's very rarely a fight you go into where there isn't a datacron on offense or defense that is going to play a role. So I hope this kind of encourages everybody to kind of think of it like this. Hondo's absolutely worth getting. Hondo's absolutely a character that I think you're going to want. I'm not saying to farm him if you 4 million GP. I'm not saying to, not farm him, but I don't want you writing this character off until you know more information. This is just, don't panic. Don't get into that Lord Vader mindset of this guy's trash. Because, like I said, I think we still haven't seen his peak yet. With some of the other characters, you know, initially we're like, oh, they're really good, or oh, they're really bad. And then you find out that, like, you know, it was all hype. One way or the other, bad hype or good hype. You know, go back, I'm going to give you guys, everybody talked about how Jedi Master Kenobi was the greatest galactic legend to ever exist in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Until everyone realized that you needed Commander Tano in order to unlock the guy. So, with Hondo, you know, again, it's okay, well, maybe you need Smee, which I'm, you know, hearing that Smee definitely can play a good role, but nothing crazy. But I think maybe what I'm trying to get at to here is we've also been wrong on GL saying they're not that good, and then they turn out to be something that is extremely important to your Grand Arena offense, defense, territory war. And again, there's no Omicrons right now. And we know how much of a difference Omicrons can make. Even just a singular Omicron, how much of a difference the Embo... Think about Embo. The Embo Omicron for Jabba's team makes a huge difference in that team's performance comparative to GAC. The Spectre Omicrons on General Syndulla and Padawan Sabine Wren make how much of a difference comparative to even Ezra's in GAC. So it is a significant change, and I think the best of him will be yet to come, as we will see in Territory War, where there are quite a few Omicrons, not just on Smee, but also on Brutus as well. He has another Territory War Omicron. So there's going to be 4 Territory War Omicrons on that team. I think it's going to be a monster, and it's going to be something we're going to have to tackle. So all of that said, like, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. I love you all. May the Force be with you, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, my friends.